Hello everyone, my name is Heather, this is Alter Movement, and we welcome you to our spring season of physical body movement. We're out here in Seattle. There's lots of aliveness. It feels like a very classic spring day. All the barking and all the planes and the clouds and the sun and kids and laughter and all the things. So here we are outside, ready to move my body with you. So this is class number 2 in our series of spring movement for the physical body. So if you haven't already taken class 1 in the series, you can find the link to that class in the description of this class. I encourage you to take that one first and meet us back here. They all progressively build on one another. So today we're going to focus on upper body mobility. We'll say thoracic mobility using one of my favorite tools known as the Coregeous ball. Some of my students call this the Coregeous ball, which I think is kind of cute. So we'll need one of these, and you'll also need something to hang on. This is, I guess, optional. We'll do some of our, again, mobility work first. We'll end the class. If you want to stay and continue with the strength component of this, then you'll need either a pull-up bar. We're going to go to the playground and we'll hang there. You could use a tree, you could use rings, but we'll get there in a moment. So we're going to actually start laying down on our back. We're going to let this plane fly by and I'll meet you on your back with the Coregeous ball behind you. So we want it inflated quite a ways. Sometimes we teach classes where it's halfway deflated, but today we want it almost fully inflated. That's going to be behind you. You're going to stay on your bum, but laying down towards your back. The middle part of your back is going to be on the Coregeous ball. Knees are going to stay bent, feet flat, hands behind the head. So what we're going to start with is letting the lumbar spine, which is your lower spine, and your upper spine go into extension. So you feel that back bend happening, letting the weight of your head fall into your hands so your hands are supporting the weight of your head. And then we're going to bring the whole of the spine, so your lower spine and your upper spine, into that flexed position. So like you're doing like a bit of a crunch. And I want you to do this a couple times. And sensing the back of your body. So how, again, your lower back, your upper back goes into that back bend extended shape. And then it's the opposite. We think of maybe like hollowing out the front of your body, bringing your low ribs and your hip bones toward one another. And then do that one more time. And this is another nice sort of body cue. So when we're going to extension, our low ribs and our hip bones move farther away from one another. And then they come closer toward one another. So now what we're going to do, we're going to isolate movement in our thoracic spine. So continue to hold your head. Now I want you to lock your pelvis in a neutral position. So you can think of the hip bones being in the same line. You might also sense how your lower back starts to press into the ground slightly. We're going to try to maintain that shape in our pelvis and lower back, and just start to move your upper spine over that ball. So now the back bend is only happening in your middle upper back. Remember your nose breath. And then we're bringing that flexion, that rounding, into our upper spine. And let's do this 3 more times. Lower spine steady. Upper back going into that back bend as far as your body says yes to without the pelvis moving. And then we go into that flex position where the low ribs come toward your hip bones. The weight of your head is supported with your hands. This is not a hefty neck movement. I want your head to feel supported so we can really tend to that space of the back of the heart and coming into that sense of rounding in our upper back. A little bit of heart opening as we come up over the ball. One more time, we flex forward. Now we're going to try to add some circular motion to this mobility exercise. We're going to see if we can take our upper spine and draw a circle around the ball. And get quiet as a huge jet flies overhead. we just go with it, you know? Just got to go with whatever's surrounding us. You know, one of my teachers said there's really no distractions, like to invite whatever is here to be a part of the moment, which I kind of love. It's like whatever sounds, whatever noises, like that's there, your awareness goes there, and then we can also come back to, okay, yeah, right, I'm here, kind of feeling some motion in my body. So again, we're trying to take, so I like to think of from the low ribs up to the shoulders, this part of the body. Well, let's say the middle of the ribs. The middle of the ribs to the top of the shoulders. We're trying to bring that part of us into this circular pattern around the ball. And let's try a couple times each direction and notice how the pelvis can stay steady. Again, very aware, so interested in upper back, moving through space, head supported. And then we're going to see if we can find a spot where our upper spine can rest over your coregeous ball. So this might be where you pause the video and you take a little bit of the air out of your ball. You could try it out with all of the air, as much air as you have in the ball right now, and see if your head can touch the floor as well. If that doesn't happen, if your head is hovering away from the floor, you're going to lift up. I'll do this with you. We're going to take the little peg out of the ball, and we're going to deflate the ball a quarter of the way. That's going to make this way less intense. So I don't want it to feel so intense that you can't breathe. That's not our aim here. More of a gentle, heart opening, front of the shoulder opening position here that we can rest into for about 30 seconds. Arms grounded to the floor or to the grass. Eyes can be opened or closed. And now let's sense the motion of breath in the lower ribs. While we rest into this position, if something doesn't feel quite right, like in my body, we can shift that ball up toward the head or a little bit down the spine. I'm going to invite you to keep your knees bent and take 3 more quiet breaths. Good. From here, we're going to gently roll to one side and bring that ball out from underneath us. And we're on our back with our arms in a T shape. The knees are going to stay bent. I'm going to have you tune into your whole right arm and start to lift that right arm toward the ceiling or the sky. And we're going to rainbow that right arm all the way over to the left side. So we're going to lift off of the head for a moment. Think of reaching from the lower right ribs all the way out through the fingertips, reaching that right hand past the left one. Big reach. And then we rainbow that arm all the way back up and over. The head comes to the floor. That arm lowers all the way to the ground. Let's do that 2 more times on the right side. Right arm reaches. So this big stretch, like you're trying to grab something way, way high up there. And then we twist and we reach and we follow the gaze to the fingertips. And we come all the way back around. Let the weight of the body fully ground down to the floor. Do that 1 more time. A big reach, a big stretch, a twist from the lower back out through the fingertips. And then we come back around. Let's do that 3 times on the left. Left arm goes up and over. A little less rotation in your knees and pelvis if possible. So we're trying to keep more of that awareness in our upper spine like we've been playing with. And we come back all the way around. 2 more times. You can do this with the motion of the breath, or you can just keep your breath flowing outside of what the physical body is doing. Sometimes it's nice if you're come from more of a yoga background, taking 1 breath per movement might feel a little more familiar to you. Feel free to do that. And we come all the way back to center. Okay, the add-on here, the knees are going to drop to the left. That right arm's going to rainbow up and over your body just like you did. And then we're going to place both hands on the ground to sit you upright into a seated twist. Turning your spine and your gaze back behind you. Taking a breath into that middle part of you where you feel the skin stretching. And then we're going to ground down that right hand. Take your left wrist behind that right one. We're going to roll onto that left side. And we come all the way onto the back. The knees lift, that right arm lifts, and we're back into our starting position. Let's try this on the left side. Left arm reaches, the knees go over to the right, a big rainbow, a big stretch, a twist to bring us all the way up into our seated shape. The hands are down, the spine is twisting, the gaze is down. Take 2 breaths again into that same spot. Seems like the middle part of you where you feel some of the skin of the torso stretching. And the same way to come onto the back. Now that right wrist goes behind the left. We roll on to the right side. We come back into our starting position, arms in our T shape. And now we're just going to work with the lower spine. So we're going to keep our upper spine as steady, neutral as possible. Feel your shoulder blades on the ground. And start to windshield wiper your legs side to side. So arms stay on the ground, upper back stays on the ground, lower body, gentle twist from the lower back into the pelvis, into your thighs. So you might imagine or visualize that your legs are creating these 90-degree angles from the knee out into that lower leg. So you want to keep your feet wide and your knees wide as we do this. The next time your knees are going over to your right side, I'm going to invite you to pause, knees to the right, and start to push your legs down into the ground, holding this shape. Little squeeze into the left bum as that left knee reaches farther away from that left hip. You can imagine like that left knee is reaching out longer toward the front edge of the room or your mat. And then we release that squeeze, bring the knees back to center, and try it on the other side. Knees to the left. Trying to keep those 90-degree angles with your legs. If possible, squeeze the legs into the floor. The gentle contraction of that right glute. Notice where you feel that sense of stretch and length, right side. Good, and then release the squeeze, bring the knees back to center. Keep the knees wide and bring the knees in toward your chest. If you're familiar with happy baby pose, we can go towards that, or a supine child's pose with your knees a little closer together. Relax your toes, relax your ankles, and rest here for 3 breaths. Notice which parts of your body you feel a little more attuned to after this short sequence, where you feel the blood flow, the circulation. Sometimes we call the aliveness inside of us. Let's take a moment, add any other motion that you desire before you come up to a seated shape. So you could end your practice right here. A short sequence of helping to connect to motion of the upper spine, our thoracic spine, a way to mobilize and kind of free, hopefully, any tension or the sort of stagnation of the winter that may have sort of built up in this part of our body, and sort of free it to become a little more enlivened and awake to the season that you're in now, which for us here right now in this moment is spring. If you're ready to take what we just did and bring it into a strengthening movement, we're going to do that next. So you'll want to go ahead and come to your pull-up bar, your rings, your playground set, your tree, and we'll move into the next part of our class today. So I'll see you there. Okay, everyone, here we are. We have a bar. Hopefully you have yours too. We're going to bring our hands up on the bar. We're warmed up from our supine practice. We're going to start by bending our knees, keeping your arms straight, not taking your feet away from the ground yet, yeah? And just start by moving your shoulder blades toward your ears and then pull the shoulder blades down your back. Remember this from our first class. Shoulder blades toward your ears so you let your body weight hang. Keeping the arms straight, pull your shoulder blades down your back so it's the sense that your head comes closer to your bar. And do that a couple times. You might notice that your hands start to get tired more than any other part of your shoulders or your arms, and this is very common. So when you need to take a rest, you do when your grip, when your hands get tired. We have a moment. Release away from the bar. It might feel really challenging to open your hands, so do it slowly. Open and close your hands a few times. Give your hands a little shake out. Your shoulders, your elbows a little shake out. And we're going to come back into it. So we're going to start to progress this. Know that you can stay with this first variation. Knees slightly bent, right? If the floor is very far away, you're going to have your feet up on a surface. The arms are straight. We're adding a little bit of our body weight to this, right? As our body weight sinks into it, our shoulder blades go up towards the ears. And you could hang out right here. So this is called a passive hang. We're letting our body weight be held in this position. Active hang, we pull the shoulder blades down the back. So you're holding more of your body weight in this shape. You're gripping strongly into whatever surface that you are touching. And let's go in and out. Passive and active. We continue like this for a number of times. If this is all feeling pretty comfortable so far, so good, you want to add a layer of challenge to this. You're going to take one of your feet off of the surface that it is touching. And we continue passive, active. Try not to bend your elbows. Keep holding strong into that grip. Same when you need to. Both feet down. If one was lifted, we release away from that bar. We open and close those hands and give yourself 10 or 15 seconds to adjust, to adapt. I know it's challenging, especially if this is new to you. This last layer is we're going to go for a full hang. We're going to try for as long as we can without hurting ourselves. So the idea, this is, again, something that you might be progressing to over time. It could take 2 months, 3 months, 6 months. For some of us, maybe just a couple weeks. So options, right? First option, your feet are on the ground. You're going in and out of the passive active, yeah? Second option, you're going to hold the active, meaning the shoulder blades are pulling down the back, holding that position. We're going to try one foot off of the ground and hold for as long as possible. Holding the active, we see maybe both feet off of the ground, and we hold. Right, when we notice we get a little tired, we start to go back into that passive. We try to pull right back up into the active, arms straight, and we hold, and we're nose breathing. And we're nose breathing. And we continue. We hold, we're not hurting ourselves, we're paying attention to those cues when we need to come out of the shape. We do, again, most likely for a long amount of time, it's going to be your grip. Today, for me, I haven't done this. It's probably been a couple weeks since I've done a long hang, and it is immediately that grip. Other parts of me feel like they can stay longer. Grip is saying, please, 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 give me a moment. All right, so we have a moment. Open and close your hands. Really anything that's going to help to alleviate that strong sense of like, oh gosh, what did I just do? Why is everything burning? Why does everything feel so intense in my hands and my forearms? So opening and closing your hands, giving a little shake. Remember from our first class, your shoulder blade motions, your movements up, forward, down, and back. Add a little cat-cowing to your spine. Give a little bounce to the shoulders, your heels. And then we move on with the rest of the day. So this is where you might go into a 5-minute shavasana, if that's a familiar term for you in your yoga practice, or we take some time just to integrate. You could do some sort of resting position, or you might tune into one of our guided meditations, which you can find links to in the description of this class. So thank you so much for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you next time. So our next class in this series on movement for springtime is all about the core. So join us for next week. And if you are not subscribed to our channel, do that so you get the weekly update when new classes are available. And remember, you can find all things movement, especially breath work and meditation right now through Alter the podcast. And if you're looking for longer classes, you can find that in our virtual studio. You can find links to those in the description of this class, and we look forward to seeing you next week.